Hello, everyone. This is our session 14 of the Hanuman Chalisa program. We will be covering verse 37 to 40, which was the last verse of the Hanuman Chalisa. After this, there is just one concluding doha that is left, and then um, we will come back into our very last session of this program, session 16, where we would be ready to recite the entire Hanuman Chalisa from beginning to end. Without further ado, let's start with reciting the Hanuman Chalisa through verse 36. Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raj Nij Man Mukur Sudhar Bharnau Raghubar Bimal Yash जो दायक फल चार बुद्धिहीन तनु जान के सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहे हरहु क्लेश विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर राम दूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन वरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूंज जनेहु साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज कर बेको आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुन बेको रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धारी सियाहि दिखावे विकट रूप धारी लंका जरावे भीम रूप धारी असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाए संजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्ष उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही संभाई सहस बदन तुम्हारो यश गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे संकाधिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीषा नारद सारद सहित ईश यम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद सके कहीं कहाँ थे तुम उपकार सुग्रीव हिन कीन्हा राम मिलाए राजपत दीना तुम्हारो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना युग सहस्त्र योजन पर भानु लील्युत ही मधुर फल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मेली मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिन पैसारे सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपे तीनों लोक हांकते कापे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नाशे रोग हरे सब पीरा जपत निरंतन हनुमंत बीरा संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे चारों युग प्रताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुरारे अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता असुवर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुवीरपुर जाइए, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाइए। और देवता चितना धरई, हनुमंत से ही सर्व सुख करई। संकट हरे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमरे हनुमत बलबीरा। And now we are on verse 37. That is the first verse that we are going to cover in our session 14. Let's recite the verse first. जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई. The first line of this verse, like other verses in the Hanuman Chalisa, praises Hanuman. Jai means victory, and Gosai means a master of one's own senses. So this line translates into, victory be to you, O Lord Hanuman, as you are Gosai. You have full control of your senses or energies or intuitions. We humans have limitless potential, or so it's believed. But being in a human body, we are not aware of this potential and do not use it in our life as we do not know how to. But here in this verse, the poet says that Hanuman, you are an enlightened being and are conscious of your powers and can use them at will. And that is our first line. The second line, Kirpa Karhu Gurudev ke nai. Here the poet says that, O Hanuman, please grant your blessings to me and be my teacher, my guru. Hanuman in Hindu mythology is also believed to be an incarnation of Lord Shiva, who is worshipped as the universal teacher, universal guru, and a very compassionate guru. Even when a foolish student makes mistakes, a true guru will overlook it, and instead of getting angry and reprimanding the student, a true guru will help his student overcome their faults. So, worship of Sri Hanuman and accepting him in your heart as your true guru will help you to overcome all your errors and omissions. And in this line, the poet is asking for Hanuman's blessings in accepting him as his student and Hanuman being a teacher to him. Let's repeat this line a couple of times so that we are comfortable with it. Jai 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 Hanuman Gosai, Kripa Karhu Gurudev ke nai. Again. Jai 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 Hanuman Gosai, Kripa Karhu Gurudev ke nai. Again. Jai 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 Hanuman Gosai, Kripa Karhu Gurudev ke nai. And the last time. Jai 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 Hanuman Gosai, Kripa Karhu Gurudev ke nai. Moving on to verse 38. जो शत बार पाठ करे जोई, छुटहि बंधी महासुख होई. The first line translates into, whoever recites the Hanuman Chalisa 100 times, and sometimes it is understood as 108 times, daily with devotion will be freed from worldly bondage and will attain greater happiness and contentment. The second line, I kind of translated both of them together. Chutahi bandhi mahasukh hoi. Chutahi bandhi means is freed of all shackles, and mahasukh hoi means attains greater happiness and contentment in this life. So let's repeat these two lines. जो शत बार पाठ करे जोई, छुटहि बंधी महासुख होई. जो शत बार पाठ करे जोई, छुटहि बंधी महासुख होई. Again. जो शत बार पाठ करे जोई, छुटहि बंधी महासुख होई. And the last time. जो शत बार पाठ करे जोई, छुटहि बंधी महासुख होई. Wonderful. Let's move on to verse 39. जो ये पाठ सॉरी जो ये पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होए सिद्धि साकी गौरीसा. And this verse is a continuation of the previous verse and translates into: when you recite or chant the Hanuman Chalisa with devotion and concentration, you will be showered by the Lord's blessings. Here we are talking about Lord Shiva, Lord Shiva's blessings, and will always have the Lord's presence in your life. Let's recite this verse a few times and get comfortable with it. जो ये पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होए सिद्धि साकी गौरीसा. Again. जो ये पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होए सिद्धि साकी गौरीसा. Again. जो ये पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होए सिद्धि साकी गौरीसा. And the last time. जो ये पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होए सिद्धि साकी गौरीसा. All right, moving on to the very last verse of the Hanuman Chalisa, verse 40. तुलसी दास सदा हरि चेरा की जयनाथ हृदय में डेरा. So this is the last verse of the Hanuman Chalisa. Here, Tulsidas, the saint, the poet, known for his devotion, ends the poem by saying, I, Tulsidas, am forever your devotee. And, O Lord, please always reside in my heart. Let there be nothing that can shake my faith in you. Bless me with such courage. At the beginning of this program, I had mentioned that Tulsidas composed this poem while imprisoned. And so, as I understand it, he ended the poem with this line. He was asking the Lord for courage to get him through this hard time while his faith in the Lord being intact. All right. So his prayer to the Lord is to let no incident in his life shake his belief in the Lord. Let's recite this last verse a few times. And I like this verse a lot. Tulsi das sada hari chera ki jainath hriday mein dera. Again. Tulsi das sada hari chera ki jainath hriday mein dera. Third time. तुलसी दास सदा हरि चेरा की जयनाथ हृदय में डेरा. And the last time. तुलसी दास सदा हरि चेरा की जयनाथ हृदय में डेरा. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, now we are at the end of the Hanuman Chalisa's 40 verses. That does not mean it brings us to the end of the Hanuman Chalisa. Our next session, session 15, is where we would be covering the concluding Doha. In the next session, I do not plan to recite the Hanuman Chalisa from beginning to the end of the last verse, verse 40, but instead it would be a much smaller session where we would only be concentrating on the Doha. I will also talk about the first Doha and the second Doha that the Hanuman Chalisa starts with, and then I will just talk about the very last Doha. You are familiar with the first and the second Doha for sure, so it won't be too much in depth. We will mainly be concentrating only on the last Doha. And that would be our session 15. Session 16 is the one where we would recite the Hanuman Chalisa end to end, starting from the very first Doha, the second Doha, the 40 verses, and the concluding Doha all in one. And that would bring us to the end of the program. I am so looking forward to the end of the program, and I wish all of you listening to this a huge success, that at the end of the 16th session, you feel confident enough to recite the Hanuman Chalisa by yourself independently in front of any audience or by yourself sitting in meditation. All right. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.